Did you know there are two major groups of games? I mentioned this in a small part of a sentence in one of my former videos without giving you the proper context. The weapon you have is locked, and you only have 4 skills, 6 if you count block and auto attack. This is quite limited for a game that wants to prosper mechanically. So what are the two groups? Well, you have mechanic games and you have narrative games. So let's get into detail, because the line might not be as easy as you think. Narrative-driven games focus on telling the story. They might have a combat system or even a skill or level-up tree, but they are mere tools to add immersion to the game. There are tons of examples for this. The Walking Dead or Until Dawn are classic narrative games, but also games like Resident Evil or the Metro series. You may run around and shoot zombies or other monsters, but this is just as sensitive to deliver the message that the world you are in is a harsh one. Your ammo has to be rationed, or you will have to make fight or flight decisions. But you play those games to learn about the story and the world. This becomes even clearer when we talk about mechanic-driven games. You play those games because the core is the gameplay. Those games might have a narrative or even a whole storyline. You can hear or follow along, but the main priority lays in delivering as much joy in the gameplay as possible. A classic example of this would be Tetris. Here is no story, no big evil that you as the main character have to overcome. A more interesting type of this would be Dark Souls or BDO. You might argue that both of those games have a huge amount of lore and a very detailed story. But the core reason you play those games are the mechanics. Using key inputs at the right time to fight a boss or having a better combo is the reason people play these games. You can basically put every game in either one of these categories, and realizing which type of game you are playing sets your expectations to a realistic degree, and you might even benefit from your new game knowledge. Generally, narrative games care lesser for your skill tree, so you don't have to worry about it while playing. Mechanic games reward you for playing the game longer. The more you play, the easier the game gets, until you hit a new challenge, and you have to learn new stuff. At the beginning of this video I told you that the line between narrative or mechanic-driven games is not as big as you might think. So let's talk about a few games that come to my mind. What do you think about the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim? This game has multiple complex storylines with a very long main quest that changes the world. While progressing, you release the dragons, save an island from a terrible tyrant, or even darken the sun. Is it a narrative game or a mechanic game? If you want to think about it for longer, please pause the video now. The answer is, it is a mechanic game. While all the quests are amazing and the combat system is really old, you spend most of your time running around like a badass, and being the Dragonborn is just a perk to enhance that feeling. Let's take another example. The Last of Us is a game with a crafting menu, shooting, sneaking and a breathtaking story. You know the rules. Pause if you need more time. The Last of Us is a narrative game. Like I said in the explanation, those mechanics are a tool to get you invested in the world. The crafting system is a subtle way of showing you that people have arranged themselves with the apocalypse. I hope you enjoyed this video. I forgot how much fun it was to talk about game development. If you stuck around until now, thank you, and I hope you have a great day.